Hello everyone, Rare Model Reviews here, and today we have a bit of a special unboxing, not so much because there's more than one unboxing, but really what it is kind of a quality of life improvement, I say, for my channel. So I've actually gone ahead and got myself a ring light to, of course, help improve the lighting situation for my camera here, or should I say my iPhone, because for those of you who do not know, that is what I record my videos on. So one of the first steps to improving my videos, of course, is the lighting, and I just really need you guys' opinion, whether you're new here or a subscriber or recurring viewer. I just want you guys to tell me, what's the quality of the lighting looking like here. I need this feedback to know whether, it's my phone or just my lighting setup, or, what needs to be done to improve. Of course, after I get the whole lighting situation down and establish whether I just need a high quality camera or not, my next step, of course, would be to get into some editing software so I can start editing my videos instead of having to do, the one take strategy here I've been doing so far, which of course would avoid a lot of the little moments of me fumbling around trying to get accessories on or deal with transformations with my kits and figures. So again, I usually say this for last, but please comment on this video. Tell me how things look, so as a joint effort, we can make my videos as good as possible. Because of course, when you guys comment that the camera works a little shoddy or what have you, it's not just me who is saying it. Of course, it's you guys, and you're the ones whose opinions really matter. Because this would just be a hobby if I was doing it for only myself here. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into it. So this is going to have the same strategy I used on my last unboxing, where this is coming from both the USA Gundam Store and P Bandai. So of course we're going to go ahead and go to what is from the USA Gundam Store first, since that's most likely the less exciting to see. So right here we have the Master Grade Kentra. This, of course, is a reprint. You have the blue logo there and the Bandai Namco logo there as well. And of course, the little not instruction, but the little insert for the packaging there. So I believe that's the Shannon. So that is who packed this kit here for me. So appreciate that. So getting on into it here, we have some other offerings they have on their site. So this, of course, is not a sponsored video, but again, I do shop here at the Gundam Store a lot, and if I didn't enjoy the service, so as always, I'm just going to go ahead and get straight into it. So this kit came out way back in 2001, so this is definitely an oldie, but I honestly believe it's a goldie. One, because they make a 2.0 of this thing, and I seen reviews of this thing years ago, too long ago for me to really remember the verdict. I do believe there's some mentions of this thing having some fragile parts. So of course, when I build this thing, I get into it and see what feels fragile or not. I know I heard complaints about the Gulf Custom I reviewed a bit back, and so far things been fine to me. So of course, you just have all the accessories that come with this thing: 2 bazookas, the 2 shotguns. Didn't realize one of them looked different from the other. This one has a stock, one doesn't. You of course have 2 of the thermofalls, one with and one without the little extension to it. 2 beam sabers, and geez, that chain mine is huge, but it wraps around a mobile suit. So I guess it kind of has that. So we're gonna go ahead, open this baby up and see what is inside. So first off, we have, I can't tell if that's a sticker style decal or a water slide or not, but I know that is a dry rubber on top of it. Has some orange parts there. Of course, that's that kind of I'm not sure what color you call that. Would that be marine color for most of the body? Got some parts there. Can't tell what they're for. So there's some more of that colored parts there for the body armor. Have the beam sabers here. One thing I can mention is these appear to be unique beam sabers to this kit because they are a bit more curved than usual. They are yellow, but these are not the same recycled beam sabers you see all over the place. And also they have a 2000 number there, or date, I guess you should say. So yeah, this is definitely a unique beam saber. Very interesting. I've never used it or any other kit after this. As the typical recycled beam sabers you see all throughout the line. Master Grade. I believe you usually say 2006, and even with the reprints now, they started adding the 2006 Beam Sabers, not the original Beam Sabers. And also, those hands look unique. They kind of look a little bit more rubbery than normal hands you see in kits like that. And they aren't the standard 3-1 thumb that you usually would see around this date for Master Grade. So it's always interesting when you look at some of these older kits, you kind of get to see some of the things they experimented on that didn't end up panning out. And of course, you end up getting more of the standard stuff there. So of course, with this being an older kit, they like to add screws onto their Master Grades, which is kind of a bit of a pain because the screws are a little annoying to deal with. They're not the end of the world or anything, but 9 times out of 10, there's a lot to be desired, and they don't really do much, honestly, to do. Of course, that fell. Second, pick that up. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get into the manual here. So, of course, with this being an older kit, everything here is written in Japanese, so I cannot read that, although some of you may have translation devices on your phone, so maybe you can get something translated out of that. But of course, you have the parts manifest for this thing here, telling you everything you will and will not use, and etc. I believe this is to tell you where you put all the decals at. This is for the chain mines there. I'm not sure if they're trying to, oh no, yeah, there's something that you put on the handle for the chain mine. Looks like that's really about it. So moving on. So I gotta lick my fingers to get these things going. You of course have the instruction here. So again, this is an older kit. So the instruction you had for older kits, I wouldn't say they're hard, but you definitely do want to pay a bit more attention because a lot of times these older kits, their construction is so, I can't even find a word for it. It's just kind of, you know, awkward. Like, it's not as neatly laid out as some of the newer stuff is. Again, older kits, you just really got to pay attention. You're usually fine. And one thing I also want to notice, you can see a lot of the Cyclops team here, like right there. The legs construction, you can see Al. So for the documentary photographs here, really all this is trying to tell you is, you know, what this thing's history is, you know, what it's for, what it did in the series and whatnot. So this, of course, is telling you how it attacked the Alex and lost, and then it being used to kind of launch the Blitzkrieg attacks it was designed to do against the Federation, attempt to, again, destroy the Alex. And the whole fact of the Cyclops team, you know, their main goal was to sneak into Side 6's Liebig colony to, again, destroy the Gundam, to help swing the tides in their favor, which I guess they technically succeeded, as Armor never got his hands on Alex, which it was designed to replace the original Gundam, therefore. So again, just finishing out some of the construction here. And one thing, of course, since this is an older kit, you know, it is a Master Grade, it's simpler construction. You can see it still uses poly caps. There is some inner frame being used in this kit, but it's very simple. And usually inner frame only consists of the legs and the chest, but not so much the arms. And again, it's just like with these older kits, just overall, even with them having a bit of inner frame here and there, they're just never going to be as complicated to make as a Master Grade. Like, you just see the weapon here. It's just 4 pieces slapped together for the shotgun, and then for the second one there, you just have the stock, which is just 2 pieces slapped on, and 1 extra there. Chain mines look like they're going to be pretty interesting. So there's a little wire you put in there, and then you put all the pieces on top of it. So I can't wait to see how that builds. Again, the bazooka, nothing too complicated there. And then, of course, you just have here the little one-size-fits-all on how to put the weapons in the hand and whatnot. So one thing I'm actually curious about is whether the beam sabers will be able to poke out of that little pouch there on the side armor. So that's where the beam sabers are stored, on the side of this kit. Oh, wow, this is interesting. I've never seen a menu like this, whereas the front and or back shot all in one area there. It's usually just the back shot. So that is going to be it for the Kempfer here. So again, my main motivation for getting this is the fact that the Gundam store has kind of this kit of the day where they pick a random kit from the site and they deep discount it. So that was my main reason for picking that guy up. That and the Kemper is kind of a bit of a rare kit. It's not always available, so I had to go ahead and pick that thing up before. There's no telling when I'd see it again. Like that was the main reason why I got the bound up. Again, that was a rare kit. So that being said, our first P Bandai kit here we have is the Jagen Type D. So for those of you who have been looking at my videos here, you know that I recently got the Stark Jagen. I reviewed that and everything, so of course if you're interested in that, go and check it out. The Stark Jagen was based off of the Jagen Type D here, which of course is a P Bandai version of the actual Master Grade Jagen that came out about a few years ago. And I don't have the normal Jagen. I almost did get it because it was supposed to be one of the USA Gundam stores kit of the days, but when I clicked on the link, it was showing me something else, so I ended up just passing up on it because if it wasn't discounted, I didn't want it that bad. So the Jagen Type D is basically just that same Jagen. Some water slide decals here first and foremost, but there's a few more modifications to it. I believe for starters, the color of the armor is different. So sorry, my camera. The construction for some of these parts, I believe, are a little bit different. Like I tried to look up as many things as possible from the original Jagen's Master Grade manual online, so I could build some extra parts that came in with the Stark Jagen, but I couldn't quite find anything. And I noticed there's some pieces missing, like this part right here was not in the Stark Jagen. I believe that's the E-plate. I can't tell from looking at that, but that was crucial for building the shield, and I didn't have that part available, so you could not build the shield from the Stark Jagen. It did have this plate here, which was for the missiles on the shield and a cockpit hatch, but again, those are just little optional leftover parts from the build that again you couldn't really use. Could be wrong, but I swear some of these. Nah, these are the same color. I saw they were lighter color, but no, these are the same shade. Because that is one thing about the Type D. The Type D is a darker shade of that teal than the normal Jagen is. Normal Jagen is much lighter. So of course, this is some more parts for the legs here. Now, one thing I can say from building the Stark Jagen is the build wasn't too complicated. It's actually very enjoyable too, I would mention. And I was able to knock that thing out in a couple of days. Mainly because I just couldn't build it straight through, but I of course predict that the build for the Jagen is going to be pretty much the same thing, not complicated. Just has a lot of big parts, like the Stark Jagen box actually is a bit bigger than this one, of course, because it's basically using all the parts from this Type D here, but with a few extra for the missiles and the extra armor around it and what have you. So I'm probably honestly not going to build this thing anytime soon, unless, of course, someone requests it. That is my motto here. The main reason for these unboxings, for again, you guys to see what's coming soon. And if you see something from these unboxings, always don't feel afraid to shout it out in the comments below and say, hey, I want you to build that, could you please? That's what kind of speeds things along the process. Like, one of the main reasons why I haven't done a review in a couple weeks or so is because I really wanted to get my lighting situation down, because my last few reviews especially, I've noticed a severe lacking in quality, especially the lighting, and it kind of made me a little intimidated to put a video out. Like I can confirm that review I put of the Vegeta figure, that was something I was sitting on for about a month. I was just so afraid to put it out because I wasn't a fan of the lighting on it. And I just kind of said, you know what? I'm going to throw it out there, do what it does. I had a really nice idea of the video there, and if I were to review it over, it wouldn't be the same as it was with my first go-around for the recording. So far to me, the lighting seems much better than some of my other videos. But again, my opinion doesn't matter. It's you guys' opinion that does, because I make my videos for you guys, not myself. So again, just to reiterate, please, please, please tell me what you guys think about the lighting here, so I can make adjustments accordingly, and hopefully we can get the quality of these things a bit better here. Because life is all about improvement, as they say. And I'd like for my videos here to, of course, be improved. So looking at the constructions for the side armor here, that appears to be the exact same way the construction is for the side armor from the original Jagan. This backpack, I believe some of these pieces are on a different plate they were in the original Jagan. So one thing I can say I will do is I'm going to take out my Stark Jagan again and see if I could use some of those leftover parts to make that backpack. And of course, when I finally do get around to making the reviewing the Jagan Type D here, I will of course bring the Stark Jagan back out and see if I indeed was able to make that second backpack. And I'm also probably going to see if I could put that shield on too. I believe you could remove some of the armor on his arms to add in the shield, because it uses like the same attachment points. Of course, it's just explaining how to put that water slide decal on. And one thing also I noticed is this thing actually has its own unique menu. As some people in my kits, when they don't change enough, I've noticed they don't give it its own unique menu. It'll bring in the original kit's menu and just kind of add this little additional menu on the side to it to show you how to build some of the new parts. One example of that would be the Zaku 2 Dozel Custom that I will soon be reviewing. That's the next kit I plan on reviewing. I wanted to review that thing again a while ago, but I was so timid of the quality of my videos at the time. I kind of held it off constantly. So I was requested a while back to build that thing. So anywho, right here we have the Reborns 100 base jabber. So this thing is kind of accomplishing what the Reborns line was always supposed to do, as you've seen here with this little slogan or what have you. The Reborns line is supposed to be kind of like a companion line to the Master Grades, where things that were too big and expensive or just overall niche in the Gundam series, they kind of throw into these Reborn kits. And of course, this is 2019. For those of you curious when this came out. The whole point of this line was to kind of, you know, bring those kits to life. So a kit that usually wouldn't have ever made it to Master Grade would make it to the 1/100 scale form thanks to the Reborns line. So they, of course, are doing that with the base jabber here. So this is literally just one of those little sleds that the suits would ride on. And honestly, I thought this probably could have been Master Grade. I don't know why they made this a Reborns line. I don't see what they could have possibly improved. Let's say this is a Master Grade, but regardless, one thing that is cool about this thing here is that it can be used on a Master Grade. Like if you guys seen on the box there, this thing is being ruled on by Jestas, and Jestas are a Master Grade kit, not a Reborns kit. There, of course, are P Bandai versions of the Jester, like the Jester Cannon, but yeah. So I'm not sure if this is part of the base jabber here's main body, or if that's like a base or not, but I guess we'll find out when we build this thing. So this thing's talking about the unicorn version. I'm guessing this is a coloring guide. So I'm seeing here, so I'm gonna assume that they are telling you if you want to make the unicorn version of the base jabber, these are the colors you'd use on it. I'm not sure how much of that stuff is in English or not, but regardless, this is the little manifest of the parts here. And this is what I meant by the more cheaper looking menus, by the way. Sometimes they do these cheap looking menus here as opposed to, you know, the colored full menu with the proper images and, you know, the description of everything and whatnot. So I'm sure this is going to be a pretty quick build. Honestly, I'll probably end up building this one after I'm finished with the F90, which I'm halfway done building. Probably honestly could have built that thing sooner, but I usually really build my stuff on my days off of work because I don't always have the energy to build during my work week. But I might be able to build some of it tomorrow. Of course, would usually have used some of that time to build it today, but instead I've kind of decided to do this unboxing. So as you can see there, like I was saying, you'd be able to mount this to the Jagan or the Jester. So I'm going to assume that's a part that some usable on the Jagan and Jester. But I, of course, will probably break out a few kits, namely the Unicorn, see if this thing is compatible with this at all. Okay, so I thought so. That piece there, I seen, or is it telling you? No, no, no. I think it's just telling you you can use this thing on various action bases. Let me see. Yeah, it's just saying sold separately. Required to display a single mobile suit floating or two mobile suits on both sides. Yes, 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 because they did show. Yeah, the picture there. That yeah, there's the handles on the bottom of it as well. You can use, like you can see right here in the action base there. It'll have two Jaegans, one up on one on the bottom there, which is very cool. That's a really cool effect. Like the only kit I could think of that does anything remotely like that would be the whatchamacallit, the Raider Gundam, as that thing has been displayed having the whatchamacallit, the Calamity writing on it. So I'm gonna throw everything back in here, and then we have one more kit for me to unbox. So I'll be getting into that in just 1 second. Bear with me here. Our final kit we have here, let me just make sure this thing does not fall off my table, that suck. Okay, this is actually the one I'm the most excited for here out of this package. And that is going to be the Real Grade Destiny Impulse Gundam. So what this is basically, it's kind of the Impulse and the Destiny combined. As you see, it's 2023, so this is a new release. It's probably the first print at that. So basically, this is kind of the Destiny and Impulse combined, but honestly, from what I've seen, the images online, this is actually more so kind of the Impulse's version of the Perfect Strike, where it has like all the silhouettes combined in one, with of course the fourth silhouette is replaced by this Destiny type pack. So I believe the Destiny Gundam is a bit of a newer release for Real Grade, whereas the Impulse was an older one, where they put the Real Grade Impulse out quite some time ago. It might have been one of the first ones they honestly made. So with the Strike Freedom, I will soon be reviewing, by the way. This thing had a clear beam shield, and you had this sticker. You got these stickers you put on the back of it to make it kind of have that colored effect. I'm glad they just decided to use an actual colored effect, because I honestly don't understand why they did the clear effect for it. Yeah, honestly, I think it would have looked better if it was just clear blue instead of the clear white with the blue stickers on the back. It honestly didn't really look too good in my opinion, but I'll of course let you guys be the judge of how you think it looks when I review that one will be reviewed after the Cyber 2, for those of you curious. So the color of this thing was almost what kind of turned me off from this thing, because like the color here is kind of this magenta burgundy type color. Oh, okay, there's some clear red beams effects in the back of it. So that is for the beam boomerangs and the beam sabers, which the beam boomerangs double S. I mean, I guess that's one cool thing about this stuff. Color is unique, because that's always been the thing with the silhouettes. The colors change depending on the pack. And as you can see there, that's one of the beam boomerangs right there. I'm sure the other one's going to be in a different plate. Now, one interesting thing I noticed from, again, looking at the promo images of this thing is that this thing has like the beam boomerangs from the Destiny Gundam, and it looks like it has the two swords from the sword silhouette, but the blasters for this thing do not appear to be the same ones as the Blast Impulse. I could be wrong, I have to look at the Blast Impulse again, but I'm pretty sure it's different. Of course, that's some water slide decals here. So that is a P-bend, I think. Yeah, you usually have the water slides exclusively for the PE beta releases, although occasionally they defy that order. And the shield appears to be very detailed. I'm seeing more and more parts for the shield as we go on. So that's one thing that's always been awesome about Real Grades. They always kind of have that master grade type touch with it. Where oh, there's another duplicate of the beam effects from earlier. Actually, no, this isn't. These are effects for the well, no, hold on. These are actual beam sabers here. Like the actual beam sabers, not the beam boomerangs, which double as the sabers. And this looks like one of the effect parts for the sword, the anti-ship sword. But yeah, even though this is the Real Grade line, it's 144th, but it has the same details that you can on the master grade. A lot of times they even have opening hatch gimmicks for these kit, but no pilot figure to actually sit inside of it, although they do have pilot figures a lot of times sitting on the side. So we of course have a colored menu for this thing, and this is its own unique menu. This is not using, let's say, the Impulse's menu, them having a little extra menu thrown in there. This is the actual Destiny Impulse's menu. Oh, so that's interesting. So it has the beam boomerangs on the back of the arm. I thought it was on the shoulder. Okay, that makes more sense. So I see this thing holding the beam boomerangs, but I thought it was just like using the Destiny's shoulder. Nope, it's just literally the Impulse, but it's got a few extra things there. So it looks like the arms are going to be different to, of course, accommodate that new gimmick there for the boomerangs. And of course, it's explaining to you how to properly cut out parts as per standard for some of these kits here. I wasn't really paying too much attention on the Jagen's menu. I forget, I want to say it was around 2020 they started doing everything, or at least almost everything in English. And let's see. So of course, first off here we have the core splendor. So that looks like it's B. So that's probably going to be that MS joint. Usually the B frame, the B runner is always the MS joint stuff. This thing has some undergating. I said you have to go look up online when the Impulse is put out, because some of the stuff here looks like some of the more newer things you'd see in the line, but I'm almost positive the Impulse was like an older kit. I don't know if maybe they changed up a bit more stuff here for this thing's release, as again it has a full manual, so it must not be using too much from the original release if it has its own unique manual and whatnot. Of course, I'm just telling you, once you build this thing, test out the articulation, which is really mostly just to loosen it up a lot of the times. So of course this thing has, looks like alternate stickers you use for these things. Usually it's like you'd have the choice of putting on just one sticker for the eyes, or you could put on each individual eye plus the little black backing for the stickers. I usually just do the one sticker as opposed to the multiple ones. So of course we just have some of the constructions there in the leg now. And again, this is a real grade, so it has all the real grades have a full inner frame and what have you. Plenty of stickers and decals. And what's this thing? This one's in red. Okay, it says saying, be careful how you move these things as you could damage it. That's one thing about the real grades though. They are so small and fragile, so you have to be very delicate with them, as they are definitely a big break hazard. So like as I was saying before, there's a lot of undergating on this kit, so either the Impulse did come out a bit later, as undergating is kind of a more recent thing to do. They didn't really undergate much at all in the past. I think the first kit that ever was undergated might have been the Yakushiki 2.0, because of course that thing had the gold-plated armor, so it had to be undergated to avoid that thing chipping off and flaking. Because they do, especially on the real grades, a lot of undergating now. And again, that's more of a newer thing they've been doing with the real grades. The older ones did not undergate anything, so I expect some of the stuff from the Destiny parts here to be undergated, but I was seeing some parts on the actual Impulse itself. So that's one thing I definitely look it up. So by the time I review this thing, I'll know for sure when that Impulse was released. So I'll be able to give you guys some factual information there. So I'm sure for those of you who have built the Destiny Gundam in real grade form, the constructions on that wing will look very familiar here, but as you can see there, for the weapons rack, it uses the two blasters there I was telling you guys about. And then there's a separate, I'm gonna say new rack that you use for the sword silhouettes, the anti-ship swords that you throw in the back. And, oops. And from what I see in the promotional images, you can combine these swords as well. As again, I'm pretty sure they're the exact same swords you'd find from the, again, the sword silhouette, which I believe is actually a P-beta release, the real grade sword Gundam G, Sword Impulse. So yep, just as a cylinder, you could go ahead and combine those pieces there. And I believe these, oh no, those are the hands. It's something you put in, okay. And then of course, like I was saying before, we have the beam, boomerang / sabers there you combine. Or I guess they'd be swords, huh? Usually when the beams are that thick, they're considered swords, not sabers. Because again, I seen the beam sabers. I maybe wasn't paying too much attention, but I believe this thing has beam sabers too, or maybe they're just throwing the beam saber parts because they kind of do that with a lot of kids. They just throw the beam sabers in whether you use them or not. But that is going to do it. So I already know you guys are probably gonna really want to see this Destiny Impulse. So I definitely will be reviewing that thing again. I'll probably, okay. I'm gonna finish the F90. Because I have to build the F90 to do a lot of the extra P-band releases that I showed off my past unboxings. Again, I'm probably going to do the base job just because I know that thing's probably going to be pretty quick to build. And then I'll go ahead and tackle this. Again, the Jagan, I'm probably going to push that thing to the back unless, again, someone says they want to see it. So again, I just want to remind you guys, I do have the review of the Stark Jagan out. So that uses a lot of the same stuff that you'd find from the Jagan Type D in it. So if you really want to see that Jagan Type D, I recommend honestly just look at the Stark Jagan. And then like I said, later on down the line, of course I will be getting to the Jagan Type D. It's just I'm trying to do a lot of these things in order, as there are a lot of kits I have in my backlog that I need to get into, some that I've had sitting around for months, you know, so I'm trying to get to those days sooner rather than later. But again, I thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Rare My Reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. And again, let me know about the quality of this video here, guys. This is my first time busting out this ring light here, so again, I need feedback to know the improvements here. I can't say during the review. I think I might have been stepping in front of this thing a bit. I wanted to originally do this thing with this thing on the tripod, but I have to kind of fiddle around and see how I'd be able to pull off reviewing something on the actual tripod. Because I think if I had this thing on the tripod, it would probably catch the light a little bit better. But again, this is all kind of a work in progress. Like I said, this is my first time using this thing, so I'm not sure how bright I should make this thing, or if I should maybe dip it a little bit and all that. So I'm gonna get the hang of this thing, maybe find out if there's a better spot in my house I could review this thing that have a bit better lighting. So I'm not sure if I want to sit right next to my actual window or something reviewing this thing if the window's open. That would be a little awkward, have my neighbors staring at me while I'm doing it. But again, kind of rambling here. So again, this has been Rare My Reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next review.